Hi there. You're watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media, all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That young man is,
Hello, everyone. I'm Felipe de Herrera from Essex, England.
ladies and gentlemen, tonight, Felipe and I've taken Felipe's palate, putting him through the ringer, but tonight we are going to taste and dissect one I have not had either. So this is a first again for both of us. This is Posh Siglo Cero. That's the zero. Well, zero century is the translation to that. Pox. I know Philippe has been doing. Oh yeah, that's not beautiful. That little woven thing on the
That's
bottom.
gorgeous, isn't it?
That's cool. Yeah, it's a. I think some mescals actually do a full. I think Del Maguey does a full sleeve made out of the palm. But this is woven, and let me read to you what this is. If you've never heard of it, it's just now becoming popular in some of the bars in the U.S. This is a spirit distilled from corn, wheat, and sugarcane, and it's from Chiapas, which is famous for coffee, by the way. I've had coffee from Chiapas, and it's delicious. It's very earthy, it's got a
Mm.
very different terroir. The coffee does. Um, I've not had this, but I've seen it. You've seen it on. You know what? If you're following us on Instagram, or you follow Felipe on Instagram, check out Posh Siglo Cero. They are also on Instagram. And what we're going to do is we're going to taste it first, and then we're going to tell you all the ins and outs. We'll tell you all the stats and stories and what it's all about. I've never had it, so. But
Cool.
now my bottle says it's at 42.2 ABV, and your bottle says it's at what?
40.5.
45. So his technically is a
40.5.
bit stronger. I
No,
think what
no,
happens. Oh yeah, there. Oh,
40.5.
40.5. Okay, mine's at 42. Mine's a little stronger. So there's no at this point in its development. There's no posh industry as far as I know. I don't even know if it has a denomination of origin. I don't think so, but it is an ancestral drink that has been around for quite a while, and probably only isolated in the state of Chiapas, again, which is famous for coffee. If you've ever been to Cancun, you probably get coffee from Chiapas. Anyway, we're gonna pour it. I'm gonna use a different glass this time. This one is this is a Glencairn Canadian whiskey blending glass, which I like using. I originally loved using it for mezcal, and Felipe is going to use this handy dandy Glencairn. Um, Anything
Yeah.
that's cane based uh, in the Latin American countries, generally we refer to it as aguardiente, firewater, and it's known by different names in different countries. I know in Costa Rica, there's a general term for aguardiente. Um, Costa Rica makes guaro, which is also a cane spirit, and it as usual, it's a spirit that had um, a bad reputation as moonshine. So when people refer to guaro as it's just booze, moonshine. But now moonshine and booze are what have been culturally and ancestrally around for a long time. So it's not just nasty booze.
I also read that apparently it wasn't up until 2012 that Chiapas said that it could be sold outside of the state.
Oh wow, okay.
I believe,
Give
which
me
is
some
why we've got
stats
it
too.
now.
You've been doing some background on it. Um, I've been stuck in anything that's agave spirit. This is obviously not an agave spirit. This is a special entry, folks. We are taking it upon ourselves to open up a few more categories because it's Mexican spirits after all. So, um, I mean, I'm still holding out hope that one day we'll get an agave spirit from Venezuela that I've been dying to taste, which I hear is the king of agave spirits. And we can't get it because, of course, it's Venezuela. But which is weird because we're getting their rum. But anyway, That's got a kind of a runny. Well, it still has legs and tears though.
Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? It's not.
No, and I know our lighting here is not the greatest, but it is very clear. The bottle itself, when I was looking at the liquid, the bottle is a bit tinted, so it gives you an interesting tint. But when you pour it, it's actually quite clear.
It could just be a glass of water.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
clear,
exactly.
isn't it?
Except for the legs and tears of the giveaway. And this one is not streaming like the Sotol was at the previous tasting. This one is actually clinging like a mezcal or a tequila.
Mm.
Now I'm gonna. Oh boy, woo!
That's a
Hello.
new one, eh?
Yeah, well that's. But see, if you're a rum drinker or if you've been to, traveled to other countries, you're familiar with the cane spirit. You feel that, you smell that cane spirit right away. But there's this underlying vegetation that I'm.
You can smell. Thankfully, I know what sugar cane is like. It's definitely that kind of smell.
Yeah,
It's like
it's
one
very
rummy
much.
kind of smell.
Yeah, it's like canya, or we would call it canya, which is it's unaged. It's not even rum. It's just like white lightning, almost. But once it opens up, there's something subtle on the bottom. There's something there.
There's a hint of alcohol in that.
Yeah. Well, I got more of a hit in alcohol than he did initially. I just broke the seal off of mine, and but again, mine is a bit higher in ABV than yours. So
Yeah.
there's almost a sweetness though. There's like a sugarcane sweetness.
Yeah.
Once you get past the alcohol.
That's quite really pleasant.
Yeah, it's not off-putting at all.
Shall we?
Let's shall.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I was trying to do a retronasal, and the alcohol is much more present now, and on the intake than it was on the aroma. Holy cow!
That's got flavour, hasn't it?
Yeah, there's an explosion on your palate that it's almost like a clash. I can't say that it's balanced, but I don't believe it's supposed to. I think this is what it's supposed to be like. Because sometimes you get tequilas or mezcals where you have like two different plants, and instead of blending together, they clash. This is a clash, but it's supposed to be there.
It's where you have like sweet and sour. It's like that where you've got, but it's sweet and savoury. You've got that. It's undoubtedly maybe it's the corn.
Yeah, now I'm beginning to taste the corn a little bit. Yeah. And go ahead.
Go.
Finish. No. When I say I'm tasting the corn, I told Felipe off camera I have had Sierra Norte Oaxacan whiskey, and that whiskey is corn whiskey made with heirloom corn grown in Oaxaca, and it's the first whiskey I've ever had where I was telling Felipe where I tasted the corn, because you don't get that in like Jack Daniels. You don't get it in Bullet Bourbon. You don't get it in anything that's corn based. Maybe you get it in corn liquor. I don't know. I've not had enough moonshine to be able to have a broader palate. But I remember how lovely that was, that I got a Oaxacan whiskey made with corn where I could taste the corn. And
Mm.
and I was hoping that Posh would be the same thing, because the cane spirit's there. It's the first thing you smell. And I've had, you know, I've had cane spirit before, aguardiente, from Mexico actually, but and I think from Nicaragua as well. But then when you let it open up, when it blooms a little bit more, you get that corn aftertaste. It's an aftertaste, which is lovely. It's kind of, but there's that explosion, like you said. It's very savory,
Yeah.
and it comes in waves. There's first one, then there's the other, and then there's the other.
It's very almost. It's like it reminds me of if you see you're making tacos, you've got the masa harina, and it's wet just before you're going to press. It's that
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of.
Mm, mm.
And at the same time, you've got the cane coming in over the top.
Yeah.
I like that. That is good.
That is really different. I didn't know what to expect, folks, because I've never had it. I've only heard about it recently because I knew it was it has been a cultural ancestral drink that's been there for a long time. And as Felipe pointed out, I didn't know this. They weren't allowed to sell it outside of Chiapas until like 2012. Really?
2012. Yeah, I think that's what. Yeah, 2012.
And I can see where bars would really just dig this, because you could dress this up so many different ways. Um,
Mm.
let me read you the ins and outs, okay? So that you folks who are maybe you mixologists who are watching us out there and are dying to get your hands on stuff like this. Siglo Cero is the name of the company. Siglocero.com, okay? Siglo Cero created with the purpose of sharing a portion of the rich culture found. I hope I'm reading it. Found in the southern Mexican state of Chiapas. Posh is a traditional spirits from the Mayan culture. Okay, that gives, you know what, that gives
Mhm.
it pedigree as far as I'm concerned. The mystical the mystical drink is made from 4 native corns, wheat, and sugarcane. For centuries, it has served as a symbol of unity, connecting humans to one another and to the land. We invite you to experience the beauty of ancient Mexico as you return with us to the height of the Mayan civilization, Siglo Cero, ground zero, 0th century. Wow.
Yep.
Hey, man. Welcome back to the homeland. This is amazing stuff. I can't believe they kept it to themselves all these centuries.
Well, I've sort of found as well that it wasn't recognised as a distinct category until 2020, but there's still no regulations into the production of it. So one bottle was really going to taste differently from another.
Well, I love that it's coming from a place. The reason I had a hard time reading it because it's in script. If you look at that, if you can see that, it's a type of font that's really cursive and very difficult to read when it's that small. So it wasn't like it wasn't like it was in Spanish or anything. If it was in Spanish, I've been able to read it. Um, I gotta thank I gotta thank the folks at Dr. Sowers for making this happen, and for our friends in Laredo, WT Liquors, who imports it. This is being imported in Texas, folks. If you have not seen this in the state of Texas, you must ask for it, especially in South Texas, in the McAllen area near the border. Um, this is amazing stuff, man. Wow, what a great history. It's made from 4 different types of corn. See, it's almost got the same kind of pedigree and story that Sierra Norte has in Oaxaca with the heirloom corn. I believe that there are three expressions of that Mexican whiskey that Sierra Norte is making. One is white corn, yellow corn. I believe there's a black or blue corn. I think it's black corn. And then there's a red corn I have not had. I love the white corn. White corn was my favorite. So I was hoping that, when I read what this was made with, I was hoping I'd get some corn out of it, and I did. But it's very subtle because the aguardiente really carries it forward. The cane spirit. So this is the Mayan drink, man. Wow.
This is the communion one.
The communion, yeah. Well,
the communion one of the Maya.
The pulque, mezcal, a lot of those have their originations as ceremonial drinks. I can see this being ceremonial, very much so, and maybe even to a point where it wasn't so much distilled as it was just fermented. Because pulque is that way.
The distillation didn't come over till the Spaniards did it, so
yeah,
it's just going to be fermented and
fermented,
and that's that.
Yeah. And well, that's what pulque was, and it was only the priests and the royalty had this available. Them and the Mayan civilization. I love the name Siglo Cero. Now it makes total sense when you read that whole story.
Yeah.
And then you go, boom! Oh, this makes all the sense in the world. Now, serving suggestions. This is funny because from Dr. Sowers we got serving suggestions on the Posh, and I hope I get the right one here. They sent us two separate sheets of information. And let me see if I can get the right one. I think it's on this one. Bear with me, folks. I know I'm geeking out for you, but Siglo Cero with Mexican turnip or yam root bean. That means jicama. Okay? You can use jicama. We use jicama a lot for food pairings with tequila, some mezcals. Jicama tends to be sweeter here in California. Also cucumber. And here, if you follow them on their Instagram, their serving suggestion, you may have seen it, very similar. They'll show it in a veladora, which is the candle holder that you'll see with mezcal. Ground coffee or with a whole bean coffee. So like Sambuca, sometimes you'll order it and they'll come with a couple of beans, a couple of coffee beans, or ouzo. They'll do that with ouzo sometimes. I can see where this would be like an ouzo, because ouzo is different as well, because ouzo in the early days was not regulated. So some ouzo from some manufacturers versus ouzo that's brought into the U.S. are different. Some will knock you on your butt, and the other ones will, the other one is a nice after dinner drink. I don't know, man. You tell me. What do you think?
I think this is another one that would be great in a cocktail, as a mixer. But I'm trying to think of if it's something that I would take out like into the garden and have a cigar or a puff with. Do you know? Because it's very.
With this,
I don't know, because it's very subtle, isn't it? It's not a strong, overbearing flavour.
No.
I think any kind of smoke would destroy it. So, I mean, if you don't smoke, then have a sip,
I think the food pairing is a right idea. I really do believe that this was, and this is not, we were talking about the mezcal when we started this whole thing. And you like that mezcal, I think, as an aperitif, before dinner. And I think this would be a great food pairing with dinner, with the courses, with the different courses. I think you could carry you could carry this all the way down to dessert, probably.
Yeah, I don't think it would interfere with any food at all.
No,
it's a great flavour. It's not overbearing. Again, there's not a great hint of alcohol in it, even though mine's 40.5. which is enough, but it's just
I have a higher ABV, but you can't smell it.
it's almost like the finish on it is almost like if you were drinking juice.
Yeah,
I can still feel it, but it's got that kind of vibe to it.
but almost like a tomato juice. You know, like this would be great with an Italian dinner, man.
You think?
Yeah, I think so.
Who's buying?
Hey, I'll buy. Wow, that's our first taste of Posh. I don't know if there are other brands out there. I don't even care because I'm in love with this one. This is, if you can find it, folks. I'm sure it's available in the UK. It's probably just now sneaking over to the border in Texas and possibly Southern California. It's Posh Siglo Cero. I would suggest that if you have it two different ways. Have it straight, have it neat, maybe in the same manner that mezcal is served, or if you have a specialty glass with a wider mouth, so you get a good sense for what it is, and then have them make you a cocktail with this. I would love to see what mixologists do with this.
This would go well with any food that's got sour cream.
Oh,
And a bit of a spice food, like it's cool. It'd be rude not to drink it with tacos. So let's do that.
Yeah, but we're talking about tacos made of brain or birria, made with goat or brain. I've had brain tacos; they're great, man. Those street tacos, they'll make them out of anything that moves. It'd be great with this too. I'm probably overreaching here, but chapulines, with insects, with the locust, just traditionally with mezcal, and I had my best example of having a taco made with chapulines is I spent a wonderful afternoon with David Suro in his restaurant in Philadelphia, downtown Philly, Center City, and it's called Tequila Phillies. And I've known David for a long time, and he was nice enough to treat myself and my wife at the time. We had lunch. It was just makeshift, these little small tacos, and what I thought was ground beef. And it wasn't until I had a couple of those, he goes, "Oh no, that's chapulines," but it's seasoned like it was ground beef, and they were delicious. And I could see this with, like you said, a really good, some great tacos.
Yeah, this will go with spice. Anything that's spicy, it'll be because there's not much of a taste of alcohol. If you have something spicy, then you have alcohol, they can just exaggerate it.
Right.
This I think this would flatline it. I want to have to go and eat a chili now, then drink some more. Yeah, for scientific purposes.
Oh yeah, of course. Because we have to investigate. Because that's what we do, folks. We're professional here, ladies and gentlemen.
Try this at home.
Yeah. I'm just going to go on a limb and say Brand of Promise nominee, and this is a special entry category. We have had several in the last 3 years. We have recognized for their pedigree and their. When you talk about Mexican spirits, especially something as ancient as the Mayan civilization, you stand up and listen. Okay, this was beautiful. I can really see this as a accompaniment with food. I can't wait to see it more widespread, more instead of having tequila dinners, we have a posh dinner. With the food. I think chefs will have a great time with this as well. Anybody who's a chef out there that's looking to present their cuchara, their cooking skills right here. This is good.
It can be. I reckon that is incredibly versatile for food and for cocktails. The only worry is that it's going to end up like when you go somewhere and you go, "Oh man, this place is full of tourists," and your one is like that. Like I could probably catch. I think because it's so. I think it's. No one knows what it is, so they'll give it a go.
Yeah, exactly. I think it deserves to be known. To be there's lots of education that needs to be said. But when mixologists get a hold of this, you guys, mixologists and chefs, this is the one, I think, of all the Mexican spirits out there right now, this is the one that could unite both beautifully. I think they could dovetail so nicely. Siglo Cero. Thanks again to Dr. Sowers for making this happen, and for our friends at WTL who import this into Laredo, South Texas. You need to get a hold of this, okay? That's just delicious. But that's our take on Siglo Cero Posh. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is
Felipe de Herrera in Essex, England.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Download our podcast, whether it's on Spotify or iTunes. Follow Felipe on his Instagram. Follow us, Tequila Aficionado, on our Instagram. And whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.